and I'm from Irvine, California. And this is the poster I made for the rally that was in Santa Monica, but I was sick, so I wasn't able to go. So I thought you guys could kind of look at Max while I'm telling his story, because he's so darn cute. So Max was born in 2004, which is long enough ago that there wasn't a lot out there about vaccines and vaccine injury, but recently enough to know, or that Thompson and his pals knew and could have prevented Max's injury. So that's why 2004 and his birth date is so important for me to say, because his injury could have been prevented. He was born, I'm sure like you guys hear in all the stories, he was born healthy, very healthy. He hit all his milestones before the time that he was supposed to. Until he was 10 months old and his doctor, his pediatrician, insisted on his flu vaccine. And I had read some about thimerosal. It had been in the news a little bit. And so I said, if you insist that he needs this, because we were traveling on an airplane, that was her reasoning, then I want him to have the thimerosal-free version. And she said, okay, it costs $50. The one with thimerosal is free, but if you want the thimerosal-free, it costs $50. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll pay the $50. So they ordered it, and we went in and got his vaccine. And they called the next day and said, we're sorry, we gave him the wrong vaccine. We gave him the one with thimerosal. And I remember saying on the phone, if my son ends up with autism, you're going to hear from me. He was 10 months old. We didn't notice a lot of change at that point, except for he started choking on his food. Choking on his food that he had eaten for months. He started choking on that trip that we went on, the one that we had to get the flu vaccine for. He was choking, and he was a bit solemn. But there wasn't anything. He still had his words. He was saying mama, dada. He was saying animal names and animal sounds. He had started doing that. So that was 10 months, and we got back, and at his year visit, which was 6 days after his first birthday, because I was the rule follower and I went in when I was supposed to, he got his MMR and the chicken pox, and that night he had head-to-toe rash, fever of 104, and bloody diarrhea. And I called the doctor, and she told me these things were normal. They're side effects. They're normal side effects, and to give him Tylenol. And of course, as a parent, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay, this is normal, this is fine. But I knew that wasn't normal or fine. And then in the month to follow, and then that month, he lost his words. He lost his ability to walk. He'd been kind of creeping around the furniture. He went back to crawling. We would go out in the backyard, and he'd pick up a big rock in one hand and a little rock in the other hand every single time we went out. And so I went back to the doctor and I said, this is not normal. I know this is not normal. I was a child development major. I had a master's in education. I knew it wasn't normal, and she told me it was. She said, this is normal, it's fine, it's okay that he's not talking, because sometimes boys are late talkers, and I said, but he was talking and now he's not. So anyway, she told me everything I wanted to hear, and by that time I was already pregnant with his sister, and we continued vaccinating him because I believed her. And my daughter was born, they're about exactly 2 years apart, and we started vaccinating her, and at 4 months she had a rash all over her body, and she stopped babbling and making a sound. There were days when I would sit in front of her face just making the most idiotic things to try to get her to make a single sound, and she wasn't making a single sound. So we stopped vaccinating. We finally went with our own gut, and she recovered. 6 months later, she started babbling, talking. Max has never gotten his voice back. He's been silent since he was 1 year old.
How old is he now?
He's 12.
He's non-verbal.
He's non-verbal. He uses an iPad to communicate. He can type, but he's never going to have, his expressive language is never going to be his form. I wanted to show everybody this. I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is something else that he got from the MMR. It's called purpura. And when I took him into the doctor and she saw that, she sent us to CHOP, which is the big hospital around here. We saw the rheumatologist, we saw the dermatologist. They had no idea. They didn't know. They wanted to biopsy it. We declined that. They had no idea what it was. And so I went back to her and I said, you realize, right, that purpura is listed as a side effect of vaccines. And she said to me in her office, this doctor who has been she's literally a poster child for vaccines. She's on a poster for vaccines. She said, well, I believe Max has autoimmune responses to vaccines. And when she said that to me, I thought, oh my God, she's finally going to be on board. She's finally going to help us. But her next sentence was that he should still get his vaccines. And so that was the day that we can't go back to her anymore. She's not on our team. She's not on our side. And this is the gift that keeps on giving. He gets this twice a year. We have no understanding why. It's something to do with his autoimmune system. It's happened from when he was 1 year old, and he still gets, he's 12.
Is this doctor still practicing?
She's still practicing, and I want you to know that I sent the 38-page document from your website to her, and I had a follow-up call with her, and she said she read it thoroughly, and she still has no qualms about vaccinating. She doesn't believe any of those things should have any bearing on people being vaccinated. And I said to her, because I was trying to get a medical exemption for my children, I said, will you at least write down what you said about Max having autoimmune responses to vaccines? I need to get that to this new doctor who did go to the movie with me. He needs some backup. He needs to know that you said that because you're the one that treated him for his whole life. And she said, I do remember saying that, but I can't write that down because that would make me vulnerable. And I said, what are you talking about? My children are they're the ones that are vulnerable. But she said that on the phone. I will not write that down for you, even though I remember saying it, because it will make me vulnerable. That's the kind of doctor that we went to.
I can't believe she's still practicing.
She's the head of where we went, and she's very well respected. I don't even know what to say there, but I do want to tell you guys that I've been very active on social media and telling my story, and I've had some people from high school that have been horrible, and even one who has a child on the spectrum telling me that his pediatrician said that his son's injuries were most likely caused by vaccines, but autism is better than these diseases that he could have. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me that your doctor says that and you're saying that to me? Have you walked a day in my son's shoes? No. But I have had 6 people tell me they're not going to give their children Gardasil because of reading the things that I've posted. And I had a friend who had a baby very recently who did not do Hep B because of what he's read on my social media. So it makes it worth it. It makes it worth all of those horrible things that those people have said to me, that I should rot in jail, that I should be called by social services for not continuing to vaccinate my children. It's all worth it because there are 7 kids that are not being vaccinated and their parents have chosen to educate themselves.
They want you to name her because they don't want to ever go to this doctor again, but that's your choice. Some do, some don't. I don't know. I don't want to be. I don't know. It's up to people what they want to do. But,
how about if I tell you my name and I will, if you want to find me on social media, I'll private message you. I don't know legally if I should say. She is a female physician practicing in Irvine. I'll say that, Irvine, California. And then I wanted to show you guys. This is my other poster that I was going to take to the rally. It's about Tatum. And this picture I think is very poignant because when Max was diagnosed 5 days before I gave birth to Tatum, and I didn't know if he would ever even look at her because he had lost that. He wasn't looking at us anymore. He wasn't responding to his name, and so I had my camera with me all the time, and I happened to catch the very first time he ever looked at her, and she has been the biggest gift for him ever. I don't know that we would have even had any more children. I was already pregnant with her when all this was going on. I wanted kids. I wanted a lot of kids, and I wanted them close together. And thank goodness I was already pregnant because she has been the absolute best gift to him. And thank goodness we stopped vaccinating because she probably would have been exactly like him. And we all have MTHFR. We've learned that. We're all homozygous for it, and I think everybody should go get tested for that. It's so important to know. It's not the reason Max has autism, but it's the genetic basis, and it was definitely triggered by vaccines. Max's father, myself, and his sister, we all have it homozygously, but the only difference is we didn't have that many vaccines, and none of us had the MMR. And we're all okay. I mean, we have little things. I've had some things with vaccines as well, but nothing to the extent for Max having the thimerosal and also having the MMR. So I really hope that people choose to find out about that. If they're going to choose to vaccinate, if they find out if they do have that genetic mutation, it's so important. Every person that I've talked to through social media that has a child with autism that has been tested has that genetic mutation, at least heterozygously. I think that it's definitely important to know. I wish I had known. I wish I had known before I had kids. And even though it's horrible to live in California right now with what's going on with SB 277, it's a great time to have kids because all of this information is out there. Had I known this, had I had friends like Catherine Madrid back then, I would not have vaccinated, and my child would have had a chance at a normal, typical life. But he doesn't. That's it. Was there anything else? I don't know if oh, this was the last thing. When people say that their kids haven't had reactions to vaccines, after all this happened, I requested Max's, when we were leaving that doctor, I requested his medical records. His medical records for a 12-year-old, he had almost 700 pages. And I realized everything he was treated for was for something that the vaccines had caused. We never went to the doctor except for asthma and upper respiratory. Everything that, we wouldn't have been going to the doctor had we not gone for his whole chest. And so I went back and I looked, and I never knew that he had reactions to his earlier, but every vaccine that he had, we were back in the doctor's office between 1 and 2 weeks later. The first one, it was flu-like symptoms, and he had some breathing issues, and this is the name for eczema. And back in the day, if you had eczema, they wouldn't vaccinate anymore. So she saw these things, and we still kept going. So then after that, after each one, he had an upper respiratory illness, so he was having breathing issues. Here he had a fever and breathing issues. Here he had another rash. That's his thing, his skin. So he had after the Hep B, the polio rash. Every single one, but I didn't know that, I mean, I just didn't see the correlation. I didn't realize that these things could be happening. But I think if other parents went back and looked, if you look at the dates that they have these, and then you look, it is. They're not as extreme as autism and losing speech and language, but he ended up with asthma after all these things. And then you see that if you add them all together, upper respiratory issues after each vaccine, and then he ends up with asthma. I mean, it's, I don't know. It just all makes so much sense now. I wish I had gone with my gut. So now people know there's no reason to not be educated and make choices for your children that are your choices and not for your doctor is dictating.
Thank you so much for telling your story so beautifully.